Welcome everybody to our webinar on planning a career in biotechnology and medicine. My name is Jenica Heim and I'm the Education USA Advisor to Canada. Education USA is funded by the US Department of State and we're a free and impartial resource. We are dedicated to finding the right fit for you. I help Canadians with free advising services and resources on studying in the United States. If you have any questions about studying in the US after the presentation, please reach out to me. My contact information will be on the last slide. I will also put my email in the chat, which is ottawa@educationusa.info. Today our webinar is going to be presented by a special guest. Her name is Ryan Clement. Ryan is the recruitment coordinator for Keck Graduate Institute. She works with students who are interested in pursuing a career in the life sciences and biotech industry. She also serves as KGI's international admissions liaison, helping students who are interested in attending graduate school in the United States. Please help me by welcoming Ryan, and I hope you enjoy our presentation today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Like Jenica said, my name is Ryan, and I work at the Keck Graduate Institute, which is located in Clement, California. And I've been with the Institute for 2 years now, and I work in the admissions office, and I work specifically with students who are interested in pursuing a career in life sciences, and I do so by counseling students as to exactly what that means, and also on how to best reach their goals in terms of academic career paths, specifically with KGI and our academic programs. And I'm here today to talk to you about planning a career in biotechnology and medicine. And during the presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about what the biotechnology and medicine industry is with regards to students who are interested in pursuing a career in that. And I'm also going to just highlight some of the academic and career path options that are available to students out there, both to undergrads, graduate students, and PhD students. And if at any point you have a question or you would like me to maybe elaborate a little bit more on a subject, please feel free to let me know in the chat room, and I will certainly do my best to address all questions. I will also be providing you with my email address following the presentation, so if you do have any additional follow-up questions, you're more than welcome to contact me through my email address. So let's get started. So I just wanted to start off by talking a little bit about the, oh, hang on one second, we just skipped forward here all the way. I hit the wrong button. Okay, so I just wanted to start off by talking a little bit about what the biotech industry is. It's this ginormous term, and it means a lot, so I just want to kind of highlight some of the specifics, which are probably important to you as undergraduate students who are pursuing science, engineering, technology, or math. So the life sciences ecosystem really consists of some very large biotech companies as well as pharmaceutical companies. And these are companies such as Amgen, which is actually just down the road from us, which we work a lot with here at Keck. Regeneron, which is on the East Coast in New York. We have Genentech, Pfizer, Gilead. These are familiar names to you. But what you're probably not aware of is these are leaders in the biotech industry. These are really where breakthroughs and research and development is occurring on a daily basis. And this is really where a lot of what drives the industry is taking place, within these companies. And it's not just the large companies that are driving these forces anymore, but it's also smaller startups, and it's also there's a lot of research happening at the academic level too, which we'll talk a little bit more about later in the presentation. But just to make you aware of of really what's driving the multi-billion-dollar industry, which is biotech. It's these companies with their research on pharmaceuticals, pharmaceutical therapies, as well as medical devices. So to talk about where the industry is, it's important to know where it's come from. So back in the early 2000s, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, Bristol Myers Squibb, these were really big players in the game, and the industry was primarily focused on just these large companies. The internet startups haven't really come to play yet, and the world's just a little bit smaller because of not having such access to the internet and just not utilization of the internet and technology like we do today. So a lot of what was going on in the industry with regards to research and development, as well as manufacturing of drugs and devices, the actual trials through the FDA to get drugs and devices to the markets, as well as the marketing itself of the drugs to the general public. All of this was happening within the larger scope of the companies such as Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer. Now, come modern day, which will be today, and we have it's a much more complicated industry, as you can see. It's kind of based on what we're presenting here in the slide. So there's still a lot happening at the corporate level in terms of a lot of research and development happening in-house. But what's going on now is we also have a large introduction of academic research. So we have a much larger population of postdoc students now, as well as the introduction of smaller biotech companies and entrepreneurs. So students that are going and entering the industry, getting the experience, and then going out and actually starting their own startups now. Those are also becoming increasingly important players in the biotech industry. And the world today is also much smaller. So what's happening in terms of manufacturing and clinical trials is happening at the global level. So students who are going into, for example, clinical trials and who are interested in working with the FDA and regulations, it's no longer just having to know about what happens here in the U.S. in terms of what it takes to get a drug from research to the market. But now you have to understand other markets as well as too, such as China, India, Africa, especially Europe, South and Central America. These are all new players in the market when it comes to biotech, the biotech industry. So students now and employees now have to be much more aware of what's happening at the global level. So what this means for you as students who are interested in going into industry is you really have to possess a unique skill set that is no longer just focused on academic research and knowledge, but you also now have to have an awareness of the industry as a business itself. But this is often scary for students who are science-minded to have to ask you now to start thinking as business individuals. So just to take a step back and kind of talk about the industry in terms of careers. A lot of us and a lot of the students that I speak with in particular, they're very research focused. They want to go into research and development. They want to be in the lab and on the bench day in and day out. They want to be part of a team that makes that next breakthrough in terms of a pharmaceutical discovery, and we all want to do that. It sounds very exciting, and for the most part it is. But I just want to make you aware too of all of the other career functions that a student can pursue, and that our students that I work with specifically, that they do end up going into after graduating. So just to highlight a few of those, we have drug discovery and development, project management. So rather than being just a small player of a larger team, you're actually the leader for that particular team. So you could be leading the projects on putting together, for example, a new device, a new medical device let's say, prosthetics. You could be doing, you could be working in regulatory affairs and clinical trials, and working with multiple departments in terms of getting the trials to come, as well as to pass and come to market. And just as a side note, the cost to get a drug through clinical trials and into the market, it costs about $1 billion. So it's a lot of money that's being invested into these clinical trials. So biotech companies are really, really investing in individuals who have a strong knowledge within these fields. You could do corporate development. You could be a consultant. You could do marketing, supply chain management, or you can start your own startup. So there's a number of opportunities out there. So when we think about biotech industry, I want us to think a little bit more wholly in terms of what we can do with our careers, and not just within research and development. But if that's really where you want to be, then of course that's available to you as well. So next we're going to talk a little bit about what employers want. I know I mentioned earlier that nowadays we're asking students to possess both advanced scientific knowledge, as well as think about have business skills and think about the industry as a business itself. So these are actually direct quotes from corporate partners that we work with here at Keck, and these come from their hiring managers, and they're highlighting just really what they're looking for in terms of students and employees today as through hiring practices. So of course you need your deep scientific knowledge. You can't be doing all these breakthroughs and this great science without having that. So we do need those. And next, which is probably a bit surprising for many students, is they're also looking for individuals who have a broad business and management skill set. So what this means is you don't necessarily have to go out and enroll yourself into an MBA, but it is important probably at the undergraduate and then at the graduate level, to take courses in business that finance, marketing, to kind of help offset and really deepen your hiring capabilities and your competitiveness as an employee for the biotech industry. Some other key skill sets are quantitative reasoning, ethical judgment, intercultural skills. Again, the world is a small place. We're working with many diverse individuals as well as workplaces. Social responsibility, self-knowledge, self-direction, global knowledge, oral communication, great communication skills, and then another big one is teamwork. We don't work in a vacuum. We work with many other individuals as well as departments, in companies such as Amgen and Regeneron. So it's important to be able to work within a team setting as well. Just to kind of talk a little bit more about the skills required for industry positions. Again, these are coming directly from hiring from HR departments within companies that we work with. So most have a strong STEM background, advanced science and engineering education. The best candidates have industry experience in the field. So this could be through internships. This could be through if you're in a graduate program and they have an opportunity for students, to do a practicum or to work directly with corporate companies on projects. This would be a great example for that. Hands-on training, working in labs, shadowing other researchers, leadership skills, whether that's in the academic setting or independent of that, whether you're out in the community. Strong communication. We have to be able to communicate with each other both verbally and written, and then the ability to work successfully on a team. So these are all really important skills for students that are entering the industry. So now I want to talk a little bit about really kind of the nitty-gritty about how do I enter the biotech industry. And what I'm going to start with is students who are looking to go into undergrad, and if that's not applicable to you, just hang in there for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll get on to the next phrase. But for students who are thinking about entering a science degree at the undergraduate level, those majors will typically include biology, molecular biology, chemistry, biotechnology, biochemical engineering, some schools also offer pre-med tracks, neuroscience, and pharmaceutical discovery and development. Probably biotechnology and pharmaceutical discovery and development. These are kind of the least common majors available. Some programs do have them. I know Johns Hopkins, as well as a couple other programs on the East Coast here, they also offer these programs, but really, the majority of the students are coming from biology, molecular biology, chemistry, or engineering backgrounds. What you can also do as an undergrad to really gain some experience and really see if the industry is appropriate for you is you can look for student clubs and organizations on campus, whether you're entering an undergrad program or you're currently enrolled as an undergrad. Look for clubs that include industry-focused events and networking opportunities. Some schools do have biotechnology clubs or biochemical engineering professional organizations, and these organizations often bring in industry speakers or organize events for students in order to gain a better understanding of the industry or to learn about an industry's their current research, maybe a project that they're working on. So definitely get involved with student clubs and organizations. It's a great way to really get a feel if the industry is right for you, because the industry is, it's not right for everyone. It does require, leadership, and it does require, having a business skill set. And some students, they don't want that. They really just want to be research focused, and that's fine. But if you're debating and you're not sure, it's definitely I encourage all my students that I speak with, to really take advantage of the opportunities that you have as an undergrad on campus through student clubs, organizations, through career services. They can also sometimes be of service, and sometimes undergraduate departments will also have their own career services. Some students I know that I work with, they're a biology students, and the biology department has, an advisor or a couple advisors who work directly with students who are interested in pursuing careers in biology. So you can seek out those individuals as well too for assistance, and internships. If you're already not if you're not tagged into doing an internship already as part of a degree requirement for your program, it's definitely really encouraged, both professionally as well as academically, to reach out and see if you can't secure an internship at a nearby biotech institution. So for students who are looking to enter the industry just right after graduation, you've completed your undergraduate degree and you want to just go ahead and throw yourself right into industry. This is an example of the typical application process. You come across a posting on a website, you apply along with hundreds of other individuals for most likely an entry-level position. You submit your resume electronically. A computer goes through and sorts through all the information, and if it's looking for keywords, and then if your resume or application doesn't contain certain keywords, then it's automatically disregarded and thrown out, and that's the end of the process for you. If it does make it on to the next level, then an HR individual will screen your resume, and then only those few that meet the specific qualifications that they're looking for this particular industry, they'll move up, into an interview. I just have a question. I received a question that it says, what kind of keywords will they be looking for? And that really depends on the position to which you're applying for, as well as the company itself. When we're working with our corporate partners, they're not all looking for the same thing, even though they could be posting for a very similar position. They could be looking for a completely different skill set. So, really, if you choose to choose this path, and you want to enter the industry directly without pursuing a graduate degree, really see if there's any alumni in your programs that work at these at these companies that you can perhaps speak with and see what they might be looking for. Again, speak to your career services office, as well as just really kind of break apart the job posting on the website. Really see if you can't pick up some keywords, and even talk to a faculty member. They're really great resources, and we probably don't utilize them as much as we should in terms of helping us with these application processes, because we feel we've graduated, we can't reach out to them anymore. But quite often they're willing to help us too. So unfortunately, I can't tell you specifically what keywords they're looking for, because it really varies depending on the position and the company. But we have a number of resources available at your fingertips. So I do encourage you to reach out to them. All right. So after undergrad, and you've decided that you want to pursue graduate school, and nowadays it's not just as simple as going to graduate school, because now we have all these different options. So I just want to kind of talk a little bit about the options that exist for students who are interested in pursuing an advanced science degree, whether that's a master's program or a doctoral program. So at the graduate level, there's a couple of programs that exist. We have your general graduate programs in biology and chemistry and biotechnology, and that information is not listed here, but those are the most common. A lot of programs that have a biology undergrad or a chemistry undergrad or an engineering undergrad will certainly offer a graduate level program as well. But what's new within probably the past, I would say, 10 to 15 years, is a new program that are called PSMs, and these are Professional Science Masters, and that's what we are here at the Keck Graduate Institute. So I can talk to you a little bit about this from some authority. So PSM it's a degree program that offers advanced science as well as technical courses, and they tend to be focused on a particular industry. So for students that are looking to enter the biotech industry, PSM is a great graduate program to pursue, because it does focus directly on industries, biotechnology and the life sciences. The faculty are experienced and coming from, if not still working within these industries. And this is where you're going to get your combination of your science and business skill set. So like we had mentioned before, companies are now looking for employees that have the ability to not just do the advanced scientific work, but also to be able to think as a business leader. So PSMs are great programs for this, because they do combine both the science and the business components. PSMs also prepare you for leadership roles, as well as project management. So it's not just going to be preparing you for research and development, for a career on the bench. If you perhaps are interested in maybe pursuing another career area, maybe one of the ones we talked about before, these programs will help you prepare for positions outside of research and development. These programs tend to be 1 to 2 years in length, and they quite often also include an internship as well as some type of practicum components, where you're actually getting real life industry experience by working directly on a project with a large or a small biotech company. So PSMs are really great programs for students looking to enter the biotech industry, because they're really giving you everything, and they're really focused on what the industry needs today in terms of employees. And it's a really great education. There's about 300 of these programs now out there in the U.S. So there's certainly a number of programs to look at in terms of location as well as cost. So another type of program that exists is the MBA. But I really, and some students that I speak to that are coming from a science undergrad, they really want to pursue an MBA, and that's terrific. They really want to get the in-depth business background and experience. But the MBA may not be the best choice for all students who are interested in going into biotech, because the MBA, primarily focuses on business courses, so it's not going to be quite as specific to the biotech industry. And your faculty and your other peers are going to be interested and coming from all different types of experiences and backgrounds. So it's not just going to be, you're not going to have just faculty and colleagues that are working within biotechnology. And again, it's not industry specific, so you're really just kind of getting your general MBA information. Now, there's a number of these programs out there, and they're they're all great. MBAs are terrific, but it might not be the best choice for students who are looking to go into industry and who also want to continue on at the graduate level with their advanced scientific coursework. So the next program. Actually, I just want to take a second before talking about postdoctoral programs. This is a New York Times article that just quickly highlights the success and the growing popularity of PSM programs. They've increased in number about 23% since 2010. And about 2 years ago, we had about 6,000 students enrolled in these programs. KGI was actually one of the very first PSM programs, so we've kind of seen these, and I have tracked kind of the progress of these programs for quite some time now. And again, these PSMs, I'm quoting from the third paragraph down, but they're increasingly students are seeking degrees that prepare them for success in a wide range of professional settings. So this is really this is really important for students that are looking to enter biotechnology. And more than 90% of professional science master's graduates that we surveyed for 2013 were employed in a job related to their field of study. So that's another advantage to a PSM is your employability after graduation. I know on our end we see a really high number of students getting jobs after they graduate, and I believe this to be true for most PSM programs. Is you're getting such a unique skill set that's really valuable to employers, so you tend to have a higher rate of employment after graduation from graduate school with the PSM programs. So another career academic path for students is the PhD, the postdoctoral program, and this is a program that allows students to continue with their advanced science and technical courses. You are required to put together a thesis, which some students will complete within 3 to 4 years, some students as much as 7. It depends on the program. Some programs have term limits in terms of how long it can take you to complete it. But generally it's about 3 to 4 years to complete a PhD program. You have to put together a thesis, and then you generally have to defend that. You have to defend your dissertation to a panel of faculty. Excuse me. Now with the PhD, they're generally not focused on business coursework. With the PhD, for most of them, you're generally picking a topic and then diving into that pretty deeply. So business coursework tends to not be focused on that with your advanced science coursework. And then with the PhD, most students that do a PhD, they tend to enter research or teaching positions. So these are really as a tract for students who maybe perhaps are not interested in industry, but are looking to enter research or teaching positions. But I just want to talk a little bit about the postdoc, which are the students that are going into the research positions at universities, as well as teaching positions. Because of the increased popularity of PhD programs, there's now in the U.S. here, we now have an influx. We have an oversaturation of postdoctoral students. We have hundreds and thousands of these students that are out there, working in research labs at universities. And only very few of them are actually attaining research or attaining teaching positions, tenure track positions, which are highly sought after. About 14% of these students that get a PhD actually will earn a tenured teaching position. And this is for a number of reasons. Two of the most important being that there's less funding available at the academic level for research and for these types of positions. But also, it goes back to just the sheer number of these students that are out there that are all vying for the same positions basically. So there's a lot of students with fewer teaching positions. So so what used to be the traditional course of getting a PhD and then becoming a professor no longer exists to the degree that it did about 10, 15 years ago. You know, a lot of students are entering postdoctoral positions in a lab where they're actually doing someone else's research. So they're not even getting to do their own professional or academic interests. It's really you know, they're kind of in a holding pattern, which is I've kind of seen that term in a couple of articles, most recently the New York Times and the Boston Globe about postdoctoral students and PhD students, you know, that are looking to get these teaching positions, and they go into a postdoctoral position, doing research, and they kind of stay there for till they're 30 or 40 years old before kind of making their next career choice. So PhDs are really great, you know, if you're interested in doing postdoctoral or perhaps becoming a professor. But if you're looking to get into industry, you don't necessarily need a PhD anymore. Now, a lot of faculty, traditional faculty in particular, probably would disagree with me on this. But what we find with our students and with the students that are interested, that I speak to, is a master's degree is all you need now to enter industry. You don't need to continue on with a PhD, but again, you're certainly welcome to if you're interested in attaining that title and attaining that knowledge within whatever your thesis topic is. But in terms of entering the industry, you no longer need a PhD. Someone with a PhD degree will not necessarily be picked over someone who just has a master's degree who are applying for the same position. Just to kind of talk a little bit about students, you know, I work with students from Canada every semester, and I just want to highlight Ben, who's actually enrolled in our Business of Bioscience program. He's from Toronto. He graduated from the University of Western Ontario. He actually just is right now. He's in his summer internship, and he's working with the Roche company out of San Francisco. And his career goal is to become a biotech entrepreneur or a venture capitalist within biotechnology. So just to highlight that, you know, going into industry doesn't necessarily mean going into research. You know, there's a lot of opportunities that exist outside of the bench if that's what you're interested in. So, you know, by all means, I encourage students to explore the different career options that are available, both at the undergrad and graduate level. Now, another really important aspect of getting into industry, and this is true for all fields, perhaps not just biotechnology, but networking. Networking is so important to students, whether you're undergrads or graduates, and you're looking to get a job, you're looking to make connections, you're looking for internships, you're looking for career advancement opportunities. Networking is so important. So I really encourage you to take, you know, advantage of your alumni network if they have networking opportunities. You know, within industry, to take advantage of that. I know that's something that we do here at KGI. You know, network with alumni in your programs. You know, take advantage of networking opportunities set up by student clubs and organizations. Or if you're finding that doesn't exist on your campus, you know, be the leader and make the opportunity available. There's you know, a number of alumni that would be more than willing to come back and speak or serve on a panel to speak with students, you know, about their positions and about what they're doing at their respective biotech organization. So this just kind of talks a little bit more about what you can do right now. You know, learn about an industry or a particular company if there's one you really are interested in what they're doing in terms of the research. Sign up for discussion groups, LinkedIn and social media. You know, we live in a time right now where technology is really at our advantage in terms of what we can do with it. So LinkedIn and social media are Facebook and Twitter. There are great opportunities for learning more about companies as well as networking with alumni and colleagues. Join the student group we talked about, find a summer internship, which is a really great opportunity. It really gets you in the door and allows you to learn about a particular company as well as a department or a project. If you don't already have one, create a resume. It's really important to start putting that together now. And then practice talking about your interests. Talk about what you want to do, in terms of your research. Why do you want to work for Pfizer? Why are you interested in cancer research and oncology? Why do you, as an engineer, what makes you interested in medical devices and diagnostics? Start practicing about talking about your interests and talking about these interests to different people. So faculty, other colleagues, if you're in a summer internship, practice talking about it with people that are actually working there full time. They can give you some great feedback about how to kind of talk a little bit more about your particular interests and be able to talk about you. What makes you a great fit? What makes you a great scientist? What makes you a great leader? These are all really great questions, and ones that you'll probably most likely get asked during either an admissions interview or a hiring interview. So it's good to practice those lines now. So that concludes the presentation. I'm certainly willing to take questions if anyone has any right now, and then I can also, I know Jenica had given you my email address in the chat room, which is rclement@kgi.edu. So feel free to reach out to me through email as well if you have any additional questions or if you'd like to ask me something offline out of the chat room. So I'll be around for a few minutes if anyone has any additional questions. So I received a question. If a student has a medical degree, can they apply for the master's program? And this is actually a really great question. So from my personal experience, we do see students that have completed medical degrees and who are looking to make the transition into industry. So they will choose to attend either a professional science master's program or some universities also have degree programs for students who have a PhD or a medical degree already. They tend to be 1 to 2 year programs. Some of them are even available online. But these are programs that are specifically geared for students who have a PhD or a medical degree and perhaps some experience under their belt, but they really are missing some of the key business skills that are required for industry. So there are some of these degrees that exist out there. We at KGI, we have one, it's called the Professional Postdoctoral Masters. So it's essentially a master's program for postdoctoral students, again, who are looking to go off the bench and get into industry. But I know that there's other programs as well too, outside of Keck that also offers them. There's not many of them because it's a very specific and unique market. But there are programs out there for students who want to who have a medical degree who want to move into the industry. And that also brings up another great topic that I didn't talk much about, but medical degrees. Some students, they do the pre-med track and they're interested in getting into medical school, and they find that for whatever reason it just doesn't happen for them. The industry is a really great place for these students, or if they change their minds and decide that medical school is not for them. We also, there's also opportunities for these students as well too. In the industry, love to have you. So if you find that medical school perhaps isn't for you, the industry is definitely an area to take a look at in terms of pursuing a career. Any other questions?
Well, we're not seeing any more questions come in, so I'd like to just say thank you so much, Ryan, for all of that great information. It was very helpful to see all the different tracks that one can take if you're interested in pursuing this career path, but the different kinds of graduate level programs you might consider after your undergraduate. So thank you for that. And we're going to just go ahead and proceed to the last slide, which is some information about Education USA Canada. So the couple of fairs that we know about that I'm going to highlight here might not necessarily have some of these professional science master's programs that Ryan was discussing. These are fairly specialized, so you want to make sure you identify, if you're looking at that particular degree, specific programs, and then find out if they are traveling to Canada, and they might not necessarily be on one of these fair circuits. However, if you are considering studying abroad, I did want to highlight a couple of fair circuits that are coming up, one of which is an MBA tour, one of which is a Study and Go Abroad fair. You can find out more information by going to those websites. Also, if you need information on applying to universities, a little extra help on the process, that's what I'm here for. So here's all of my contact information, including our email address, ottawa@educationusa.info, and please follow us on social media. I put really fun and interesting messages out there. Just blow up your Twitter feed, so much fun. So thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much, Ryan, for your help today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, everyone.